Well, who's ready to examine a dead body? That's always fun. This morning, I'm finding myself waking up in the worst possible way imaginable. Hangover? Or, oh, almost as bad. Well, it lives. Wow, this guy's kind of an ass. Do you really think I want to see your ugly mug first thing in the morning? Then you should have woken up earlier, you bastard. You came over here way too early. Early? It's almost noon. Get your ass up already. Man, aren't we a detective? Shouldn't we be waking up bright and early to go examine corpses? At Oizumi's urging, I get out of bed. Alright, let's get going. I change into my rumpled shirt and head outside. Hey, Oizumi. What? Didn't you come in a patrol car? There are no cars parked in front of the office. Like I told you, I can't use them unless it's an emergency. Stop flapping your gums and let's get going. He grabs my arm and drags me along. However, we're heading north. Hey Oizumi, the station's to the west. It's faster to walk to Takanadobaba from here. Oizumi throws that out there, his tone indicating that he couldn't care less what I think about it. So we're just getting drug along with him, huh? It's more than 2 kilometers away, though. Let's take the train. If you've got time to be moving your mouth, then get your feet moving. No good. It looks like he doesn't intend to listen to anything I say. It'd be easier if we took the Yamate line, and we could write it off as a police expense. Resigned to my fate, I adopt a leisurely pace while glowering at Ozumi's back. Heading north on Meiji Street, we reach Takanadobaba after 30 minutes of continuous walking. So, are you warmed up yet? I'm hungry. After being dragged out here on foot, immediately after waking up, I don't care how hot or cold I am, I'm hungry. Forget it. When you think about where we're going, it'll be better if you don't eat. Yeah, he's probably right about that. You'll just end up throwing up your food. I know. I really don't want anything in my stomach when we get the results of the autopsy. I'm not the squeamish sort who only sticks around long enough to ask a few questions. However, at this particular hospital, carelessness on my part could lead to the autopsy being performed right in front of my eyes. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're a detective, then you pretty much have to, you pretty much have to deal with seeing dead bodies all the time, so I don't know how you could be, how you could really be squeamish with that kind of a job. Ridge, you go in first. No, you go first. You're the cop, aren't you? And which of us is more used to dealing with her again? Why the hell are we arguing back and forth in front of the hospital? I haven't been here in a while. It'll be awkward if I lead. Of course, there's more to it than that. Will you quit stalling and go? Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet. And what are you two doing? Oh god. A voice suddenly hails us from behind. Whoa. It's not polite to scream when you see someone's face, Tokisaka-san. God, is this crazy? Is this crazy woman? It happened so suddenly, I apologize to Natsume-san. You really know how to hurt a woman's feelings, you know. I tried my best. At what? You said you were coming over, so I went and got dressed up. Did you really? You don't look that dressed up to me. I only came here to ask the results of the investigation. Oh, is that how it is? I suppose I should have known better. Alright, gentlemen, come on in. Natsume-san winks at us before leading the way into the hospital. I knew I could count on you to deal with her, Reiji. Oh, give it a rest. Of course, he doesn't want to deal with her. I don't think anybody really wants to deal with her. This woman's a little bit eccentric, just to say the least. Instead of the waiting room or a sick room, we're immediately brought here. The autopsy room, or rather the operating room. I've never heard of any operations actually being carried out here, so I guess calling it an autopsy room is fine. Well then, what did you want to hear about? Tell us about the corpse at Inokashira Park and Tama Cemetery. Reiji doesn't know the finer details, so go through them one by one. Alright, let's start with the dismemberment. Natsume-san picks a sheaf of papers up off her desk. I pull out my notebook. On the dawn of February 29th, the corpse of what appeared to be a young female was discovered at Inokashira Park, in Kichijoji, located in Musashino City. To be more accurate, what was discovered were 4 limbs and a head. The torso has yet to be found. The pond was also dredged, but nothing of any relevance was found. Do we know her identity? That we don't know. Even though the head remains, it's in a state of severe decomposition. It was full of maggots, but there's something strange about it. Strange? It's still a pretty cold time of year, right? Nonetheless, the growth of the maggots was far too rapid. It doesn't match up with the corpse's state of decay. Natsume-san flips through her documents. With this degree of decomposition, we can surmise that it was left out there around the end of February, and within 1 week of death. However, the size of the maggots is around 1 centimeter, which means that around 12 days had passed. Could it be a measurement error? When they're twice the expected size, you can't call it a mere error. While it's possible that the body was refrigerated, both the decomposition and the growth of the maggots would have been halted. Interesting. Also, I took some fingerprints, but they didn't match anyone on the list down at the MPD. Even if a search request was submitted, it's not like the victim's prints would be in our files. Well, I've got other methods at my disposal, so that's fine. Dental records, for instance. What's her blood type? There wasn't really any blood left, but tentatively I can say that she's type A. I nod while scribbling in my notebook with a pen. Are there any other points worth mentioning? There are indeed. This will probably interest you the most. There are traces of a vital reaction at the point where the legs were amputated. You're saying the legs were cut off while she was still alive? Jesus, fuck. That's the worst part about it. That's right. However, there were no vital reactions from the arms. So the legs were amputated and she died of a massive hemorrhage. Afterward, her arms and head were chopped off. Is that how it happened? That seems likely, yes. Next up is the corpse discovered in Tama Cemetery in Fuchu City on March 2nd. The victim in this case was also a young female. Her left arm was amputated, she was buried, and her foot was covered in kerosene and set ablaze. This is the case I'm investigating. This one's relatively simple. In this case, the corpse is pretty much whole, so there are many things that we know for certain. How certain? Well, let's go through them in order. First, the estimated time of death. We know for a fact that this one died on March 1st, sometime between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight. Natsume-san's tone leaves no room for doubt. Look, the foot was set on fire, right? There's signs in the muscle indicating that the leg was re-stiffened. That clearly means that the leg was artificially stiffened within 5 hours of death. You're telling us that the leg was moved at the time the fire was set? That's likely. I can say with certainty that she was killed within 5 hours of her discovery. What's the cause of death? Trauma from losing the left arm? There was a vital reaction where the left arm was amputated, but there's something else as well. Her abdomen was sliced open and an organ, her uterus, was cut out. Oh, I forgot about this, yeah. The killer was removing women's uteruses, which is, yeah, a little bit odd. What the hell? I had a feeling that this was a bizarre case, but I hadn't expected something like this. That's not all. An eggshell was inserted into the abdominal cavity. It's painted black, but it's been cracked. A black eggshell. What on earth? Why did they do such a thing? You're the detective, you tell me. My job is to learn what I can from the dead bodies. That's right. This just might be the clue I need to the culprit's identity. It appears that a carving knife was used. They went out of their way to stitch the wound closed, but they used regular sewing thread. No specialized tools at all. What about the left arm? From the way the bone's been crushed at the cross-section, I'd say they used a small hatchet or a similarly heavy instrument. Oh, and you remember how I said her uterus had been cut away? Well, her vagina was left intact. And what does that tell us? After some investigation, I found traces of sexual intercourse had taken place. However, I couldn't confirm the presence of any semen, so you can probably rule out a rape homicide. Interesting. So, only the uterus was cut out, and a black eggshell was inserted where that, where the cut was made. Where have we seen a black eggshell before? I won't say anything else. However, even though the body was wrapped in a black cloth, it was completely nude. Therefore, we can't rule out the possibility of less than pure intentions. I see. Are there any clues that might help us zero in on the killer? Let's see. I forgot something important. The corpse belongs to a girl who went missing on the evening of the 1st, a student named Koizumi Kei. So we've confirmed her identity. There was no decomposition, so determining that was easy. She tosses the documents onto her desk. Well, that's all we've got for now. By the way, Tokisaka-san, have you met with that guy recently? Natsume-san suddenly changes the subject. By that guy, I assume you mean him. There's only one person in my circle of acquaintances that Natsume-san would address in that manner. Of course, I've got a present for him, so could you take it over for me, please? Why do I have to do it? Wouldn't it be better if you just went and did it yourself? It's not like he lives really far away or anything. But he's such a shy boy, and he's always trying to avoid me. Maybe that's because you're trying to sexually, harass him, and he has a wife. Not my problem. Why don't you ask Oizumi or something? Oizumi-san's a police officer. I couldn't ask that of him. I don't like where this is going. Well, I don't have anyone else to ask but you, Tokisaka-san. That bastard Oizumi left the autopsy room without me noticing. See ya. You're left to deal with the crazy woman by yourself. Fine. All I have to do is drop it off, right? Thank you, Tokisaka-san. In exchange, I'll return the favor next time we meet. Yeah, I think we know what she means by that. Shit. That's why I hate being dependent on her. How is it already evening? Like, how long were we there for? It's already evening by the time I get outside. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything since this morning. Tokisaka-san, no eating what's inside the present, okay? I wouldn't dream of it. I'm about to leave, swinging the package she's entrusted to me, when I notice something. Natsume-san, I can't help but think there's something off about your sign. The sign on the wall of the hospital reads Takanari Hospital. Well, that's annoying. I thought I had it done up correctly, but it looks like they made a mistake. Natsume-san looks up at it and sighs heavily. Well, I suppose if it's corrected before I open for business, there's no problem. Even if you fixed it, wouldn't it just get washed away by the rain? Since you're so concerned, why don't I get a permanent marker and have you write it, Tokisaka-san? Why do I have to do it? Oh, just because. Give me a minute. Natsume-san disappears into the hospital. Run! Now's your chance. Oh man, I could leave right now, but if I do that, there'll be hell to pay afterwards. Great minds think alike, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, well, maybe we should run, but if we do, then, well, bad things might happen to us. Guess I've got no choice. I go and bring out a stepladder from behind the building. Thanks for waiting. Well then, I'm counting on you. Yeah. I lean the stepladder against the wall, climb up, and fix the character. Alright, could you do that sign over there too, please? Is she really just putting us to work right now? Natsume-san spouts out instructions from the ground while I fiddle with the sign. Is this good enough? Yep, it certainly boosts the spirits to see your own name on there, doesn't it, Mr. Detective from the Tokisaka Detective Agency? If that's what you wanted, you should have just put Natsume Hospital, Takashiro-san. Hold up. Since I have so many siblings, things get confusing if you call us by our last name, so make sure you call me Natsume-chan, okay? Since when have I ever called you that? You know, originally I was thinking that this was the main character from the last game, Cartagra, that guy's sister, because of how crazy she was too, but I think it's another relative of his, which makes it even more creepy that she's like kind of obsessed with him. Almost the same way his sister is, because you see why I got a little bit confused. I was like, that can't be his sister though, because his sister doesn't have assets like that. So I don't think it's his sister. It's some other relative. I forget exactly what relative. Maybe another sister. I don't know. After making Oizumi treat me to dinner, I head back to my office, slightly tipsy. Well then, let's piece together everything that's happened today. I settle into a chair and open my notebook. First off, let's think about the autopsy results that I heard at Natsume-san's place today. The dismembered corpse found in Inokashira Park. Even though this is outside the scope of my own investigation, the identity of the victim has been weighing on my mind. It appears that the corpse was discovered between 7 and 10 days after her death. There might be some calculation error, but it should be roughly in this range. If that's the case, then I just might know who this mystery victim is. I flip through my notebook and search for this person. Okay, well, we did hear about this person when we were talking with Natsume earlier. That's right, her. Imamura Haruka. The time frame of her disappearance matches perfectly with the time of the murder. That might be a possibility in the end. I still need to investigate thoroughly. Right now, I don't even have a good grasp on the criminal's profile. In regards to the other case, there's a clue to the criminal's nature, however small, here. I flip through my notebook. And I believe it was the black cloth. I would have actually said the black egg, because that seemed like it might be a pretty strong indication of who it could be, but I guess the black cloth is more, I guess the black cloth is a stronger piece of evidence. The piece of cloth the corpse was wrapped in. Both corpses were wrapped in a similar kind of fabric. Oh, that's why. I guess only one corpse had the black egg inside of it. I don't know if this is worth following up, but it may be related. Evidently, I've got my work cut out for me at Oba Girls Academy. The environment where the female students went missing, it might be involved in the case, but more importantly, it could be the key to solving both murders. Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Well, now for tomorrow's business. I look at the package that I've thrown onto my desk. Guess I'll go to Ueno. Seems like that guy's wife is pregnant as well. No matter how many times I look at them, the Takashiro family siblings really are a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, that's putting it very lightly. I wake up. Still not rested, I slowly roll over and survey the room's interior. It's my office. Well, no shit, you slept here. You always seem to sleep here. I push my blanket aside and get up. My joints ache. Damn, but it's rough not sleeping in a futon when you're pushing 30. If I could, I'd go back home to sleep, but since I work late, that's not possible. That, and I also don't like riding in the jam-packed last train of the day. Guess I'll get going. I snag the package off my desk and exit the office. It's surprisingly warm today. At this rate, it looks like it'll be spring soon. A lot of the people on the street today are dressed lightly. Correction, it looks like spring's pretty much arrived. I think that to myself, gazing at the girls wearing short skirts. Yeah, don't look too long, they'll report you for sexual harassment. Now, looks like I've got to head to Ueno today. If I'm going from Shinjuku, it's easiest to take the Yamate line. As I head toward the station, I notice a crowd of people assembled in front of Kinokuniya bookstore. A few dozen girls, students judging by their appearance, are huddled there, staring at the front of the store. I guess they're holding some kind of event. I follow their collective gaze and see that a sign has been hung reading Katsuragi Shin, author, new publication commemoration event. Katsuragi Shin. I don't know him. It must be a new writer. The guy who came out with The Season of the Sun last year was Isahara Shintaro, I think. Well, judging by the age of the people gathered there, this guy's outside my realm of expertise. Unwilling to waste more time here, I head toward Ueno. A room near Ueno Station. Takashiro, are you in? I knock lightly on the door and enter without waiting for a reply. Oh, he's been killed! Oh no! The moment I'm inside, a strange odor assails my nose. Huh? And there, right before my eyes, lies the figure of a fallen man. This guy is... Okay, let's calm down. Calm down. Let's keep our cool and figure out what happened here. Check the stab wound. From his mouth to his chest, he's covered in a red liquid. I wonder what that could be. Surely it's not blood. It probably dripped from his mouth. It looks like it's only spilled on his clothes, not on the table. In light of the circumstances, it could very well be a murder. Wait, it could be a murder or it is a murder? How the hell do you not... like, seriously, how in the hell do you not think this is a murder? There's a strange smell in the air. Well, since this guy was an idiot, seeing him like this is pretty ridiculous. Really, you have to hand it to him. Yeah, he's not treating it like a murder scene. Well, I guess that's enough of this. I take off my right shoe, hold it up, and take aim. I could just as easily leave it on, but he deserves at least a little pity. Hey Takashiro, wake up! Yelling, I hurl the shoe heel first into the pit of his stomach. Ow. Sorry, Kazuna. The man, Shugo, springs to his feet with an odd cry. Yeah, Shugo has no eyes. he's pretty much the hentai protagonist. He has no eyes. Don't fall asleep while you're drinking tomato juice. Tomato juice, of course that's what it was. I snap at Shugo as he groggily awakens. Oh, it's you, Tokasaka. I haven't seen you for a while. This guy has been my friend ever since our time in the military. We also became policemen at the same time, but I'm the one who quit first in the end. So, what was that sorry Kazuna all about? I wonder what kind of life these two lead. Well, did you need something? Shugo's pointedly ignoring the question, but I toss him the package anyway. I was entrusted to bring this here. It's from Natsume-san. From Natsume-ne? The moment he hears her name, Shugo hurls the package back in my direction. You take it. I don't want it. Why don't you help yourself? Go on, take it and get out of here. What the hell am I going to do with this? I shove it back at him. I said it's all yours. If I don't want it, I don't want it, man. Come on, don't say that. Think of it as a favor. Well then, I'll go tell that to Natsume-san. I'll say that ungrateful rat Shugo told me he didn't want it. No, that's even worse. The day Natsume-ne hears something like that, I don't even know how much she'll make me suffer. For some reason, Shugo appears to be really scared. Yeah, I don't want to know what she's going to do to him. Well, I understand how he feels. If I were her little brother, I wouldn't know what to do either. Yeah, move very far away and don't tell her where you went. Can you at least look at what's inside? Hearing my words, Shoujo grudgingly accepts my delivery. It's probably nothing good, I can tell you that much. His face is a mask of resignation. He opens the parcel. A letter and a gray rectangular object tumble out. Is that Konyaku? With my eyes aren't deceiving me. It's Konyaku. Why on earth would she... Oh, what's this? The town of Shimonida in Gunma has the highest quality Konyaku. Since Kazuna's pregnant, feel free to use this to comfort yourself, Shuchan. What the hell? Natsume-san's at it again. Look at this. There's even a gap where you squeeze it. Okay, I'm not too familiar with some things about Japanese culture, but what is Konyaku? If anybody knows, feel free to tell me. I might actually Google that later and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's what it is. I don't know if it's some kind of... It doesn't sound like it's food, like it... Well, okay, she said something about eating it when she gave it to us, so maybe it is food. Damn it, I have no idea what those girls in my family are thinking. Natsume and Nana both. Okay, yeah, Nana was the other one. Did your little sister give you something too? Nana is this guy's little sister. Apparently she's got a personality rivaling that of Natsume-san. I guess Natsume must be the older sister. That Nana sent me a nude photo album of herself. Dude, you should burn that immediately. Burn that immediately and distance yourself from both of them. That's even worse than I'd imagined. Kazuna raged pretty hard. So what is it that I'm angry about? Unexpectedly, a voice calls out from behind me. Sorry, Kazuna. At once, Shoujo squats down, hiding his head with his arms. I really do have to wonder about their lifestyle. If he's not careful, Kazuna is just going to strike him down with her wrath. Ignoring the idiot, I turn to greet the newcomer. Hey, Kazuna-san, pardon the intrusion. Oh, if it isn't Tokisaka-san, it's been a while. Takashiro, formerly Kazuki Kazuna. She's a famous actress and Shugo's wife. I've heard that she's taking a break from her career during her pregnancy. Wow, you've gotten pretty big. Even though she's wearing Japanese-style clothes that hide the curves of her body well, the bulge in her abdomen is rather conspicuous. Yes, I'm already 6 months in. I see. Well, the top part of you is still the same as usual. That is a weird compliment. Like that, I feel like Shoujo should kind of get upset at you for that. Even when it's concealed by her clothing, you can still tell her chest is pretty flat. Wow. That's, well, that is definitely not a compliment. Huh? Hey, Tokisaka! Okay, there we go. In a rare fit of rage, Shoujo raises his voice and grabs my shoulders. It looks like I've pushed him too far. You goddamn idiot. You know I try my hardest massaging them every night. My Kazuna's boobs never grow any bigger. It's really awkward when you emphasize that. Thanks to that, the only thing that's increased is my grip strength. I can crush an apple in my hands now like it was nothing. Shugo-san, what kind of nonsense are you spewing now? No! I'm sorry, Kazuna! At once, Shoujo is back to groveling. Good grief, I know I brought it up, but what is it with these two? They definitely have an interesting relationship, to say the least. We have a lively chat for a while, and before I know it, it's evening. Come to think of it, why did you guys quit the police force? Shoujo and I both freeze at Kazuna's abrupt question. Huh? What's wrong? She looks between our faces while holding the konyaku, which she's prepared in a miso dengaku style. Okay, so apparently whatever it is something you put into miso soup. Our memories of that time aren't very happy ones. That's right. Shoujo nods, agreeing with my muttered reply. The incident that made me quit the police force. The so-called Rokushiki case. I don't have a single good memory about that time. Let's not talk about it. Shoujo gently lays a hand on Kazuna's shoulder, signaling an end to the conversation. Sorry. Even now, I still can't bring myself to talk about it. Yeah, they referenced this a lot in Karno Shoujo, and I thought that because of that, in the game that was sort of like a prequel to this, it would actually be about the Rokushiki case, but instead it was about something else, and it had to do with both of these two characters, Kazuna and Shoujo. I guess Shoujo understands that. He was on the case with us back then. It was fun talking to you guys after such a long time. It looks like I should get going soon. I wouldn't want to infringe on this young couple's time alone. Alright, Takashiro, I'll come again. Yeah, see you. Please come again. We'll be looking forward to it. She's eating the konyaku. Oh, Tokisaka-san, would you like some? I got this miso from our friend Toji-san. Nah, don't worry about me. Make sure that guy eats some, though. Well, I guess I should just let its original use, the one Yatsume-san intended, remain a secret. Wait a minute. Okay, what else do you use it for? Is it something weird? Like, it's something weird, isn't it? Well, Kazuna-san, try not to be too hard on this guy, please. Hey, Shugo-san, what the heck have you been telling Tokisaka-san? Sorry, Kazuna. This is one lover's quarrel I'm not going to interfere with. It's time for the Kazuna Shugo comedy hour. By the time I get back from Ueno, it's pitch dark outside. I'm home. Welcome back, Nissan. Okay, why does our sister act like our wife? It's really weird. It's like she's always got dinner ready for us. She's kind of like waiting on us. Yukari steps out of the kitchen. There's still some time left before dinner's ready, so go ahead and take a bath first. Sure, don't mind if I do. Since I slept in my office last night, I think it's high time I had a bath. Your part-time instructor position begins tomorrow, so please clean yourself up properly. I know. Well, I don't suppose it'd hurt if I shaved off my stubble at least. After a leisurely soak in the bath to wash off the sweat, I change into Japanese clothes. Phew. It's warm enough today that I don't have to hug the hibachi. I decide to relax and smoke a cigarette while waiting for dinner to be finished. March. It's already been 6 years since it happened. The topic that came up at Takashiro's office, the reason I quit the police force. It was a lot colder on that day than it is now. I remember snow flurries. Flurries, and the cold. Nissan, dinner's ready. Yukari's call interrupts my train of thought. Yeah, I'm coming. After dinner, I stay in the living room for coffee. It's already past the time when the insects wake up. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 days ago. Soon, the bugs will start to come up out of the ground. Yukari's practically glowing. She's an unparalleled insectophile, so much so that she'll let snails hibernate inside her room. Ew. I don't like the winter very much. The insects don't show themselves then, and besides... Besides, it's almost Yukiko-san's. Yukari whispered in a quiet voice, soft as a mosquito. That's right. Yukiko, Miyama Yukiko, was my fiancée. 6 years ago, in March of 1950, she... Okay, so we are in the 50s. I'm going to sleep soon, Nissan. Good night. Yeah, good night. Yukari hurries off to her room, probably because she can no longer endure my silence. Well, nothing I can do about that. I guess I'll go to bed too. Yeah, we will definitely learn more about that. Death and Tragedy, that's pretty much the name of the game here. Okay, I didn't even notice the year. Yeah, it's 1956. Alright, Yukari, I'll be taking off first, but please don't tell anyone that I'm investigating undercover. I know that, Nissan. You're such a worrywart. Yukari giggles as she brings me a coat. Oh, but I have a friend who knows you're a private detective. I never thought you'd end up doing something like this, so... Nah, that's fine. As long as you make sure your friend doesn't spread that info around, it should be alright. Sure, I understand. Well, see you later. Have a safe trip, Nissan. Yeah, time for our part-time instructor job. Yeah, we're totally not a private investigator. We're totally not here to, do some investigating into murders. We are definitely a teacher. It's a good thing that, you know, Reiji seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to teaching. I think he ends up, it's not a spoiler to say this, he ends up being like a history teacher. So I guess because of him reading all the time in his parents' study, he must know a lot about history. So he can, I guess he's well equipped to teach it. Good thing for, you know, that's a good thing at least, because otherwise him being a teacher would be a little bit more suspicious because he wouldn't know what the hell he's talking about. To get from my house in Zenpakuji to Oba Girls Academy in Hoya City, it happens that I have to travel through Musashino City. For a while, it had a field that pro baseball players used, and it also contains the lodgings for the occupying forces. I pass along the side of what used to be an airplane factory, cross the Shinkawa Joshi irrigation canal, and arrive at the academy. Schoolgirls walk solemnly by, clad in white uniforms. Nobody opens their mouth to speak. They move through the main gate as if sucked into it. With the mist blanketing the area like this, they look like mountaineering ascetics on a funeral procession. I can't sense any energy at all. Yukari's a pretty mature girl, but she's not this gloomy. Those white uniforms look pretty dreary to me. Do I really have to work in a place like this? I'm increasingly anxious about whether this will work, but at this point, I have little choice in the matter. I stand by the gate and steel myself for the day. From the outside, this old-fashioned academy looks vaguely ominous, leaving me with unsettling impressions. Yeah, the fog really makes it look creepy as hell, like it just looks like a haunted house. Maybe it's because of the morning fog, but it's almost like white-colored darkness. To my side, the white-clothed schoolgirls pass through the gate. None of them pay any heed to the suspicious-looking man standing right in front of the gate. I can't sense any life from them. It's almost as if they're ghosts. However, if I hesitate here, I'll never get started. Let's go. Ah, Tokisaka-san. I'm glad that you've come. Vice Principal Saiki greets me as I enter the faculty room. Good morning, Saiki-san, or Saiki-sensei. You don't have to be so tense. Now, we have a worship service today, so at that time I'll introduce you to the student body. That's just going to make me even more tense, but I guess there's no way around it. Somehow, I make it through my introduction without a hitch. Afterward, I stand stiffly by the wall of the chapel, listening to Vice Principal Seiki's speech while I survey the students. Nobody so much as whispers. They're all dead silent. I thought it was normal for girls of their age to amuse themselves by chatting away behind the teachers' backs. However, something else weighs more heavily on my mind. All of these girls listening to Seiki's speech, they all look the same to me in profile. It's not to say that they're identical. Each one of these girls has visible differences in their face and hairstyle, yet as a group, they all look the same. I can't find any individuality. I heard from Yukari that the school's rules were pretty strict. Nevertheless, to erase all personality to this degree is... They're almost like an army? You can't tell them apart from the outside, and unless you join, they're just an unidentifiable group of people. I search for Yukari amongst the ranks. I find her before too long, and it's all I can do not to sigh in relief. Yukari seems like she hasn't changed much from her usual self. Then again, it might look that way because I know how she is normally. Someone who doesn't know her might easily group her among the other soulless girls. Everybody, please listen quietly. A dignified voice reverberates throughout the chapel. A long-haired student stands before the altar. That's the student body president, Tsukishima Orihime. The teacher next to me whispers softly in my ear. Lately, a number of serious incidents have occurred at this school. However, we shall not be shaken by these events. I would like for everyone to go about their business as usual. Even without using a megaphone, her voice probably reached every ear in the hall. Some students in the crowd are nodding as she speaks. Looks like she's pretty popular. I sneak a glance at Yukari, but she's still her usual self. With the morning assembly finished, we return to the faculty room. I readied a history prep room for you, Tokisaka-sensei. Please use that as your base of affairs for your investigation. I'm counting on you. Alright, what should I do about lectures? I'm actually more worried about those. Yeah, I don't really blame him. I'd be like, I've never been a teacher before. You don't have to do anything for today. Please hold a lecture tomorrow, though. After that, we'll just work on an as-needed basis. Is that agreeable? Sure, I don't mind. In that case, here are the documents pertaining to the missing students. Saiki brings out a large sealed file. I'll leave them in your hands. I take it and peer inside. Mixed in with the staff address book and other odds and ends are 2 photographs. These 2, huh? Nishizono Yui and Imamura Haruka. Yes, I'm counting on your talents. I excuse myself from the staff room and enter the hallway. A bunch of students are walking down the corridor. It must already be break time. I can't say I'm surprised to see that the girls all act in exactly the same manner as in the chapel this morning, gloomy and without a trace of life. I wonder if the 2 missing girls were also like this. Morning. Good morning. She bows as she passes by me. She seems docile enough, yet ill at ease somehow. Well, since this is an all-girls school, my being a male teacher might have something to do with it. The history prep room is located in a corner on the 2nd floor, roughly above the faculty room. Phew. At least I can relax. I slump into a chair, feeling myself unwind. Unfamiliar environments always make me uneasy. I could do with some coffee, but no such luck. I might be able to get some to drink if I walk around. Alright, let's go wander around the campus a bit. So, where shall I go? The Oba Girls Academy school building has 2 floors. It seems that the 2nd floor, where I am now, is home to the 2nd and 3rd year classroom, as well as the library and science room. On the 1st floor are the 1st year classrooms, the faculty room, the infirmary, and the home economics classroom. It seems that the school premises also contain an auditorium and various club buildings. I guess I'll just take a stroll and see where I end up. Yeah, I actually thought at first I had to make I might have to make a choice here. Tokisaka-sensei, is it alright if I call you that? A voice calls out to me the moment I step outside, and I pause. It's not a student's voice, it sounds much more mature. I'm the school nurse, Akazaka Nene. The vice principal asked me to show you around the campus. Ah, thanks for the assistance. Don't worry about it. It's because I'm the person with the most free time. She smiles, giggling softly. I'll take this opportunity to ask her some questions while I'm shown around. With her leading the way, we proceed down the corridor. There are no students in sight. Class must be in session. I can't hear any voices from within the classrooms either. It's pretty quiet. I know, isn't it? They're pretty serious about education around here. Her voice lacks any trace of amusement. From my standpoint, things seem a bit too uptight. Akazaki-sensei? Just call me Nene. The academy's been like this since long ago. Both the discipline and school rules are strict and put pressure on the students. I see. That's why they're all so quiet. Well, perhaps they're more subdued than simply quiet. Surprised? Yeah, somewhat. Oh my, look at the time. Stop by the infirmary later, and I'll make you some tea or something. But I want my coffee. Where's my coffee? At the sound of the bell, Nene takes her leave. I guess I'll go visit some other places. I decide to take a look outside. The mist has burned off. Several buildings stand in the expansive schoolyard. I guess they're the clubhouses. The cold wind brushes against my face. As you might expect, it's pretty cold without a coat. I return inside. After the chill of the outside weather, that cup of tea is sounding better and better. And then I realize, where's the infirmary? I look left and right, but all the doors look the same, leaving me helpless. I know where the faculty room is since I went there this morning, but I can't just randomly open doors. What if I walk into a class in session? Wonderful. What do I do? Is something wrong? A voice hails me from behind. I recognize that mature, calm tone. When I turn around, I'm greeted by the girl who took the stage during the morning assembly. Tsukishima-san, right? Yes, that's correct, Tokisaka-sensei. What might you be doing in a place like this? After giving a graceful bow, she looks at me with what might be suspicion. Nothing I can do about that. She's probably never expected a teacher to be lost here. I'm kind of looking for the infirmary. The infirmary is straight ahead, over there. She points at the door next to the entrance. Ah, that close, huh? I'm a bit embarrassed. Then if you'll excuse me, I must be going. Bowing curtly, she leaves. It's just like when she was on the stage. She appears pretty dignified. I don't get the same feeling from her as I do from the other students. She's no ray of sunshine, but she certainly has personality. She comes across as the type of student who's got her act together. Excuse me. After knocking, I enter the infirmary. Welcome, Tokisaka-sensei. Thanks. I'm here to take you up on your invitation. Have a seat. She shows me to a chair. I do have to warn you, my tea isn't the best. Nene pours me a cup, smiling. Well, I didn't exactly come just for the tea. Oh? You have something else in mind, then? She sets her teacup down on the desk and gives me a sultry look. I believe that Vice Principal Seiki has filled you in on the details. Yes, of course. A detective's come to investigate our problem. Or so he told me, anyway. I return the smile, awkwardly putting my hand behind my head. Well, if you already know, that makes things easier. I wet my lips with the hot tea and adjust my posture. Regarding the two girls who have gone missing, is there anything you can tell me about them? Nishizono-san, a first-year student from Matsu class, and Imamura-san from the Tsubaki class, right? I don't think they had any particular issues. They were pretty normal, serious students. I see. I guess at this school, serious means that those girls were pretty quiet. Although I'm new as nurse, I'm afraid I can't think of anything that might interest you. No, you've helped me out. It's my first time conducting an investigation in this type of environment anyhow. You mean in a place where you're surrounded by young ladies? No. What I meant is that this place feels isolated from the outside world. A momentary chill runs down my spine, as though someone is reading my innermost thoughts. You have a way with words, don't you? But that said, you may be onto something. This school's atmosphere is clearly different from anything you find outside. My exact thoughts. They might have disappeared because they were fed up with this lifestyle. That's one way of looking at it, yes. Her reasoning is certainly sound. I guess I jumped the gun by assuming they had to be tangled up with the murder case. Well, it looks like coming to see you was a smart decision. Oh, really? After breaking things down a little bit, I'm finally able to get my head around the matter. Thank you, Akazaki-sensei. Didn't I just tell you to call me Nene? She flashes me a wry smile. After the bell signals the end of class, the corridors flood with people. Although I feel their presence, I don't hear any of them speaking. Man, that's creepy. This is a creepy school. It seems that even after they're released from their classes, the students here continue to obey all the rules. It's suffocating. Still, I've got a job to do. I go out into the hallway. I pass by a number of students, but not a single one of them speaks to me. Most give silent bows, but that's as far as they're willing to go. The crowd moves on past, completely silent. This is even harder than I thought. Is my investigation going to get anywhere like this? Then, outside the window, a student in the corner of the schoolyard catches my eye. I may have more luck with her. I decide to pay a visit to this girl, whose aspect is so different from the other students. Yep, guess who that is? Sensing my approach, she shifts her gaze to me. Heya. So we meet again, Mr. Detective. Kuchiki Toko greets me in the same manner as when we first met, that of a young man. What are you up to? I would think this hardly requires an explanation. Toko indicates the canvas of her easel. A number of lines run across it. So, you're drawing something. I guess it must be a landscape since she's all the way out here, but I can't see anything that resembles her drawing. Okay, what are you drawing? Is it a landscape? Well, I guess we should ask what you're drawing. What are you drawing? Do you want to know? Toko lifts up her face to meet my gaze. Well, I'm not going to tell you, or rather, I'm not exactly sure myself. You don't know? I've got a vague image in my head, but it's pretty ambiguous at the moment. It's almost like my own self. I'm searching for my own ambiguous existence. An ambiguous existence, you say? Well, I don't know how long it'll take, but when I'm finished, I'll show it to you. So until then, no peeking. Alright, I get it. Well, I guess it's wishful thinking that you would follow along there. I wonder what you snuck in here to investigate. Could it possibly be me, or something else? Toko peers up at me, an impish expression on her face. Could you keep my real job a secret? Too late. I already told Toko about it. Toko? That's right, Toko. She's my friend. For a second there, it didn't make sense, so she's got a friend with the same name. No way around it. Have her hush up as well. Does it bother you? A faint smile plays about her mouth. A detective's job goes more smoothly when they've got secrecy, you know? That seems kinda cool, actually. Not at all. It's a pretty dirty job. That says a lot coming from that man himself. Alright, Tokisaka-sensei. It appears that we've come to an agreement. I can breathe a little easier now. By the way, Kuchiki-san. You can't do that, sensei. She cuts me off in mid-sentence. Please call me Toko. I like that better. You said that before, didn't you? When I met her at Inokashira Park, she said that her name was a perfect fit for her. Nicely remembered. I guess you really are a detective. Like I was saying, I'd like you to keep that a secret. I get it, Tokisaka-sensei. Toko! A shout rings out from the direction of the nearby club buildings. I turn and see a girl with disheveled hair running over here. Toko called her name. I see, so she's... Are you alright, Toko? The running girl puts her arm around Toko's shoulders, as if about to embrace her. No need to worry, Toko. It's not like he's going to rape me or anything. He's a teacher. Oh my god. Please don't say that. People are going to get really fucking suspicious. But... She glares at me out of the corner of her eye. It's a look full of hostility. Well, damn. I apologize, sensei. Unexpectedly, she gives me a slight bow, as if satisfied. When she does, she looks no different from the other students. Her lack of individuality stands out. I guess it's because of my position as an instructor. My name is Mizuhara Toko, and I'm a second-year student. Tokisaka-sensei, was it? You're Yukari-san's brother, the detective. Yeah, that's right. But could I have you hide that fact from everyone else? Is it a problem if people realize that you're siblings? No, that's not what I meant. It'll be a problem if word gets out that he's a detective. You see, it appears that he's in the midst of an investigation right now. Then, you're investigating Nishizono-san's disappearance. Yeah, that's right. I don't really want to give away the details of my investigation, but I haven't got a choice. I don't want to make the students uneasy. If you keep quiet about this, it'll help me out. Okay, I understand. Unexpectedly, Toko obediently nods her head in agreement. But at any rate, you guys have the same name, huh? Is there something wrong with that? Speaking in a quiet tone, she once again regards me with hostility. Not at all. Don't you feel it's some kind of fate for friends to share the same name? Toko says this, her arms around Toko's shoulders. We exist as one mind, and one body. Okay, well that's not fucking weird. Toko mutters quietly, echoing Toko's thoughts. Okay, wow. So those are Those are some weird fucking girls. It's already evening. There are still things I'd like to investigate, but it seems like there aren't many students left on campus. Of course, as quiet as the students are, there could be people here and I'd never notice. Well, where shall I go? Okay, where to now? Yes, we're off to the park. I've come to Inakoshira Park. As I wander around the pond, I suddenly see a face that I recognize and stop in my tracks. It's Kuchiki Toko. She's sitting on a bench, scribbling in the sketchbook in her lap with a pencil. I wonder what she's drawing. Her line of sight alternates between her hands and the pond. Don't you think it's in bad taste for you to keep watching without saying anything, Tokisaka-sensei? She calls out to me, her eyes never leaving her work. I thought it would be rude to interrupt you. Oh, so you weren't tailing me? Of course not. I sneak a peek at Toko's hands while replying. Etchi. What the heck is that? Is that a shortened English word? You don't know about Shiori Magyo? The short story serialized in the newspaper? I think I've heard something by that name that started the publication last year. Yeah, it appears in there. It's apparently short for hentai. So I'm a pervert. Well, didn't you just peep at my drawing without permission? Toko says that, but she's laughing. It looks like I haven't actually killed the mood. What are you drawing? Now, wouldn't it have been so hard to just ask that from the beginning? She shows me the sketchbook. There are numerous delicate pencil lines gathered together, forming her subject. A turtle, huh? And there, on the bank of the pond, is a turtle with its head extended. Seems like it's just awakened from hibernation. They're sluggish during this time of year, so they're well suited for sketching. She goes back to work while talking. I don't want to interrupt her. I guess I'll leave. Detective? What's up? Have you found the real me yet? I'd almost forgotten her request. Well, it's currently under investigation. Seriously? Of course. Liar. What makes you say that? Because, Detective, you haven't asked me any questions at all. Toko peers up in my face. In order to search for me, it's useless if you don't investigate me, right? Try asking some questions. Anything's fine. Guess you're right. Do you like drawing, or what do you feel when you draw? What do you feel when you draw? How do you feel about your drawings? What kind of feelings do you put into your art when you draw? I've never thought about that before. For a second, Toko's usual composure slips, but she immediately taps her finger on her chin and starts pondering. Let's see, if anything, it'd be freedom, I guess. Having said that, she laughs as if embarrassed. Really, I like drawing because I can free my mind from everything. I don't think about anything. Free your mind, huh? I guess she feels free when she's concentrating on her art. If that's the case, then I really shouldn't be bothering her. See you later. Hope it turns out. Leaving already? There's still other things I've got to investigate. I see. You're pretty busy. Well, that's all it is. See you next time at school. Best of luck with your work. Thanks. Okay, well, we went to the park, and, oh yeah, that's right. I guess we should check the hospital. Check up on what's going on with the autopsy. I've come to the Takashiro Hospital in Takeda Nobaba. Well, it's not without good reason. There might be new information on the case under investigation. I could just ask Ozumi, but to meet with him I'd have to go to Sakura Daman. That's where my old workplace is, so it's kind of hard for me to go back there. Here, Natsume-san is usually around. Of course, that's another problem entirely. And what was all that grumbling in front of my door, mister? Ugh! Natsume-san! It seems that she saw me worrying about whether or not to go in. Perfect timing, Tokisaka-san. Did you give it to Shushan? By it, she means, well, that. Yeah, I give it to him. How did he react? Kazuna-san prepared it miso dengaku style and ate it. As expected from Kazuna-san. Well played. Natsume-san's laughing so hard that tears are running down her face. Well, I suppose it is funny when you think about it. Phew, that was hilarious. I haven't seen her recently, but I guess she hasn't changed. You haven't? You think it's the least she could do, since she lives so close by. Oh yeah, next time you see Shuchan, could you tell him to show himself once in a while? Tell him yourself, yeah really. Why don't you go tell him yourself? That's easy for you to say. Every time I go, he's never there. Doesn't that mean he hates you? That's not entirely accurate. He doesn't hate her, so much as I think he has a hard time dealing with her. Probably with both of his sisters. That can't be. You've hurt my feelings. Wah! Natsume-san crouches down on the spot, putting on a very forced show of crying. Anywhere else, this would draw a lot of attention, but nobody here has anything to do with us. The locals must be used to Natsume-san's odd behavior. So, is he never there because he's so busy? Natsume-san asks, hopping to her feet. Wouldn't that be a good thing? I think the Takashiro is just pretending to be out, but I decide not to say it. Oh, that's right. I have something to give you, Natsume-san. I pull out the 2 photographs I've slipped into my notebook. Oh, so you like him young, huh? Oh, God. Of course she'd call us a pervert. No, that's not it. They're 2 female students whose whereabouts are currently unknown. It's from another case I'm investigating. Natsume-san's eyes narrow. You just need me to compare them to the corpses, right? Let's see, Nishizono Yui-san and Imamura Haruka-san. Yeah, could you? No problem. I've hit a brick wall here, so the more information the better. Thanks. I'd rather the corpses didn't turn out to be one of them. On the other hand, it would help to know if one of the missing girls were here. After eating dinner, I relax on the sofa in the living room. How was your first day at the academy? The task of cleaning up complete, Yukari comes out of the kitchen. I guess everybody's pretty quiet. I give her my honest impression. Yeah, there aren't really any people there that cause trouble. Is that because the school rules are so strict? I don't especially feel that way, but it seems like there are some people who do. Yukari cut off her words midway. What's wrong? Are you asking this as a teacher from the academy? Nah, I'm asking this as a detective conducting an investigation. Not as a brother who's worried about his little sister's behavior? Have I ever been worried about you before now? Looks like I have your trust. Yukari laughs as she replies. I'm the wicked sort who keeps quiet even though she knows her friend breaks the school rules, you know. Is that how it is? It's a secret? I wouldn't be surprised if she's hiding a few things, but just don't do anything dangerous. I'll be fine. You don't have to worry. Yukari agrees, a tender smile on her face. Oh, that's right. Do you know a student named Kuchiki Toko? Yes, of course. We're in the same club. Yukari replies promptly, and questioningly tilts her head. Is there something wrong with Kuchiki-san? Nah, it's nothing. So you're in the art club too, huh? I'm more surprised than anything. Yes, you didn't know? I'd always thought for sure that you'd be in an entomology club or something. What kind of club activities would they do? Yukari sighs in a disgusted manner. Alright, forget I brought it up. So what kind of girl is she? Kuchiki-san? Let's see, she's not a bad person. Well, of course, but she is kind of a strange one. You get a completely different impression from her than you do from other people. I guess you could say she's the philosophical type. Nobody really has a problem with her, though. What about Mizuhara Toko? What's she like? Mizuhara-san? I certainly notice her together with Kuchi-san all the time. Yukari looks at me with suspicion. Are you trying to pick up girls, brother? Does this have anything to do with what you're investigating, Nissan? Nah, that's just a question as a newly hired instructor. Honestly, you're just saying whatever's convenient. Yukari giggles as she says this. Uh-oh. That's not good. That means bad things are happening. The girl sleeps. Okay. The girl sleeps. She sleeps atop a desk covered with a white sheet, in an imitation of a bed. Her slender, naked body is full of soft curves. It sounds like he's getting off to this. I loosely raise up her dangling right leg. This is excellent. Perfect. I cannot damage it. I take out a pitch-black cloth from a bag and carefully wrap her right leg in it. A mole on her calf arouses concern. I guess I should dig it out, but no, that would damage it. I've got no choice. Guess I'll give up. The length and fleshiness were just right, but a blemish like this cannot possibly be allowed. She's not pure enough. She must be purified. I peel off the cloth. How about her left leg? But I just can't stand the shape of the toenail on her big toe. If that's the case, then let's check her right arm. There's not much muscle, and the flesh is soft, and above all else, I like the length of her fingers. Let's do this one. I wrap it gently with black cloth. She does not wake up. Well, of course, that's because I shot her up full of morphine. I gave her a near lethal dose, but that's hardly an issue here. Well then, let's get started, shall we? After aiming the blade of a blunt hatchet to the tip of her shoulder, I raise it aloft. It's murder time, bitches! The girl's body gives a little jolt, and blood spurts forth. I catch her severed right arm before it falls to the ground. Her twitching and convulsing almost resembles a big fish after it's been caught. Even though she shouldn't sense anything or even be conscious, her body keeps twitching. I gently set her right arm on another desk and pick up a book. This is the hard part. I affix her moving torso to the top of the desk and grab her head using both my hands. Then, with great force, I twist her head. Oh God. Oh God. Oh Jesus, I did not need to see that. I did not need to see that. It's nothing like wringing out a damp cloth. Her cervical vertebrae makes a dull noise as they scrape against one another, and air and dark red blood are flowing from her smashed throat. I make her face backward, then weigh her down behind the ears to fix it in place. She's already stopped breathing. That's fine with me. There's still more work to be done. I pick up a carving knife and go around to her lower body. I must cut out this impure part. I stick the blade in below her navel and open her abdomen. A bubble of blood pops noisily as it's broken. I'm already used to extracting the womb. It's only my second time, but I quickly understand where I need to cut. And then I casually toss aside the removed uterus and push a black egg into its place. The black egg is proof of her impurity. In my silent rage, I crush the egg. I sew up the wound, closing her abdomen. All that's left is to leave her somewhere. And as I look upon her face, I realize something. I must make her cry tears of blood. A quick scan of the area reveals something perfect. It's the awl I sharpened earlier. If I stick this into her eyeball, she'll definitely weep crimson tears. Jesus Christ, no. If there's not enough blood, it looks like if I made a wound in her back, that'll do. I lift the eyelid of the silent husk of a girl with my finger, then drive the awl in. Ugh, God. That was, fucking horrifying. Yeah, there are segments like this where we, see things from the perspective of the killer, and, those are always very interesting reads, to say the least. For a long time, I stare up at the stains on the ceiling. For whatever reason, I've got insomnia tonight. Maybe it's because of the, us seeing things from the killer's perspective. I think that'd give anybody insomnia. I've been wide awake all night. This isn't good. It doesn't look like I'm going to fall asleep. I get up from the futon and put a cigarette in my mouth. It's not even midnight yet. I go into the living room without lighting my cigarette. It looks like Hikari's already asleep. I guess I'll go for a walk or something. The air outside is cool, but not particularly cold. So where should I go? At this hour, my options are rather limited. Probably no further than Kichijoji. Well, apparently we should go back to the park. I cross the Cho line, now out of service, and come to Inokashira Park. As you'd expect at this hour, there aren't any people around. Due to the mist, I can't clearly see the opposite shore. I walk along the footpath that surrounds the pond. The going is difficult in this darkness. Well, even if I slip up, I don't think I'll fall into the pond. After walking for a while, I notice something moving right in front of me. For a second, I think it's a ghost, but it's the wrong season for them. It'd be strange if it was a snow woman, too. It's the wrong season for ghosts. And it's also the wrong season for snow women, whatever the fuck. What's a snow woman? However, the vague shape that rose out of the mist was indeed that of a human. I wonder, is it the ghost of the girl who was killed and had 4 of her limbs discovered here? Well, if that's the case, it's a lucky break for me. If I play my cards right, I could learn her identity and that of her killer. Dead woman, who killed you? Return the slab, or suffer my curse. Damn it, what kind of stupid shit am I thinking of? You're thinking of talking to a fucking ghost, dude. I continue onward, pushing my way through the heavy mist. The vague figure gradually comes into sharper focus. So, the true identity of the ghost is... Don't you think it's rather rude to call someone you just encountered a ghost? Kuchiki Toko stares at me, a disappointed expression on her face. What are you doing at this hour? And what about you, Tokisaka-sensei? What are you doing in this place? Toko retorts, laughing lightly. For some reason, she gives off a different impression now from when I see her under the sun. She's bewitching and beautiful. More than a mere girl, she's a woman. It's dangerous to take walks at this hour. Are you worried about me? Thanks, Tokisaka-sensei. There's no problem, though. I'm used to it. My home is close by anyhow. That's not really what I was referring to. Then again, nothing I say to her will have much effect. The park's a scary place at night, especially where there's water. That's true, I guess. The mist gradually disperses. The surface of Inokashira Pond spreads out before us, black, like a hole dug into the earth. When I look at it, it's like I'm going to get sucked in. I really feel like I'm going to fall. But here, take a look at this, Tokisaka-sensei. Toko shifts her gaze overhead. The moon. The moon peers out from between the clouds. The moon's reflection on the surface is beautiful. It reflects light while swaying back and forth. The light it receives from the sun doesn't vanish. Toko points to the reflection of the moon in the corner of the pond. The rays of the sun are too harsh. The moon softens them and makes them gentler. And then Toko turns away from me. That's why I love the night. She smiles bewitchingly. No matter how lovely the night is, I don't approve of you wandering around on your own. I imagine her parents are worried as well. Is that a teacher I hear talking? Can't a man be concerned for his client? Before she can say anything, I gently grab her arm. Are you going to rape me? Jesus Christ, stop talking about rape. We're not, oh my god. Don't be stupid. I'm just escorting you back to your house. I almost feel like she wants us to do that. I reply seriously to Toko's jest and release her. It's close by, right? If that's the case, then... You don't have to worry, detective. If a man brings me back home, it'll just cause a stir. After saying that, Toko turns on her heel. Good night. See you tomorrow, Tokisaka-sensei. Hey. Her back slowly recedes into the distance. I can't chase after her. Be careful, Toko. Maybe it's just my imagination, but when I call out, it looks like Toko's faint silhouette raises a hand and waves back.